Hey, this is Adam Torres, and I'm here to tell you that it has never been easier to start your very own podcast. At Mission Matters, our goal is to amplify stories that matter. That means we want to help you start your podcast because your story matters. We can do this in 3 different ways. 1, join our podcast school and take a free or paid course. 2, visit our resources page where we've already figured out what you need, such as where to host your podcast. Or 3, heck, we can even do everything for you through our podcast agency, including editing for cheaper than you can do in-house. Oh, and no contract, services month to month. Get started by heading over to missionmatters.com and click on Start a Podcast. All right, now let's get into the show.
Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Money Podcast, your source for all things money. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Mark Podolsky on the line, and he is CEO of Frontier Equity Properties and founder of GeekPay.io. Mark, welcome to the show.
Adam, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, man, Mark. So I'm excited to get into today's topic. So passive income without headaches, who does not want that? I mean, we want to hear your formula. We want to hear your secrets, Mark. But before we do that, let's go a little bit further for some context into what you're doing over at Frontier Equity Properties and GeekPay.io. Tell us a little bit more about your companies, please.
Sure. So Frontier Equity Properties, we are an investment company. And basically, and I'll walk you through the model later, but basically we buy and sell raw land and we just make it cash flow, just like any kind of rental home or, multifamily, building. So, but we don't have any headaches with it. And then GeekPay.io is an automation of getting paid. So it's a set it and forget it payment system. So imagine if you're collecting rent, you would get your, that first month's payment, last month's payment, and then it would automate via ACH or the checking account getting paid every single month. That way, the notifications. So the basic idea is, my philosophy is we can always make more money. We can't get more time. And GeekPay actually saves people time. And if done correctly, it's the only software I know of that actually makes you money.
Now, this is awesome, and I think this is a great transition, so let's just dive right into today's topic. So no headache passive income. Does it exist? Tell us more about this model.
Okay, so, Adam, where do you live?
I'm in L.A.
Good for you. Okay, you've lost all complaining privileges. Nevertheless, let's assume that you own 20 acres of raw land in Texas, and let's assume that you owe $200 in back taxes. So essentially, Adam, you're advertising 2 things to me. Number 1, you have no emotional attachment to that raw land. You're in California, the property's in Texas. And number 2, you're distressed financially in some weird way because you're not paying your property taxes. And when we don't pay for things, we don't value them in the same way. And as a result, the county treasurer keeps sending you notices saying, Adam, you don't pay your property taxes, you're eventually going to lose this 20-acre parcel to a tax deed or a tax lien investor. So what I'll do is I'll look at the comparable sales on your 20-acre parcel for the last 12 to 18 months, and all I'm going to do is take the lowest comparable sale and divide by 4. And that's going to get me what Warren Buffett would call a 300% margin of safety. So let's say the lowest comparable sale is $10,000 on your parcel. I'm going to send you an actual offer of $2,500. Now you accept it because for you don't care, right? Like you haven't paid your taxes. And $2,500 for you is better than nothing. Now, in reality, 3 to 5% of people accept my quote unquote top dollar offer. So now, Adam, after you accept it, I have to go through due diligence or in-depth research. I got to confirm you still own the property. I got to confirm back taxes are only $200. I have to make sure there's been no breaks in the chain of title. I have to make sure there's no liens or encumbrances. And all of this is done by my team in the Philippines for $11, and they are connected to an American title company. Now, if I was paying $5,000 or more, I would just close through an American title company. But what they're going to do is they're going to make sure they're going to go through a whole checklist, make sure everything checks out. And while they're doing that, they're going to get me plat maps and aerial maps and GIS maps. They're going to get me pictures If I've never been there, I might have somebody local go out and shoot video. So I don't even need to go out and look at the property. Now I own the property. And I'm going to sell this property in 30 days or less, and I'm going to make a cash flow. So right away, I have a built-in best buyer. You know who it is?
Who?
The neighbors. The neighbors. So
I
would send out neighbor letters saying, here's your opportunity. Protect your privacy. Protect your views. Know your neighbor. So oftentimes, the neighbors will buy it. Now, if they pass, I'll go to my buyer's list. If they pass, I'll go to a little website you may have never heard of called Craigslist, the 10th most trafficked website in the United States. I go to a smaller one, Facebook, buy-sell groups, marketplace, and then I'll go to the lands, landmodo.com, landandfarm.com, landsofamerica.com, landflip.com, landhub.com. There's all these platforms where people buy and sell raw land every single day. But the way that I'm going to sell it is I'm going to make it irresistible to that new owner. So all I'm going to do is say, hey, you can lock down this 20-acre parcel with only $2,500 down. So I'm going to try to get my money out right away on the down payment, and then I'll make it a car payment. I might go 6 months out too. So $2,500 down. Let's make it a car payment. Let's say $449 a month, 9% interest over the next 84 months. So now, Adam, I've got my money out. I've got a cash flow of $449 a month at 9% interest over the next 84 months. I don't deal with any renters, rehabs, renovations, or rodents. And because I'm not dealing with a tenant, I'm exempt from Dodd-Frank, RESPA, and the SAFE Act, all this onerous real estate legislation. And then, Adam, the game that we play is, can we create enough of these land notes where our passive income exceeds our fixed expenses? And now we're working because we want to, not because we have to.
Wow, Mark. This is mind blown. First off, you are sharp. How long have you been doing this, like for these type of deals? How many have you done, roughly? I'm not asking for an exact number.
Yeah, over 6,000 now, and I've been.
Wow, I knew it. I could hear it because I heard it in your voice. I'm like, this guy, come on, this is genius. It's still, I love models that are real. They're straightforward, and you can understand them the first time. Like, if you can understand it the first time, like, I don't care who you are, what your level of finance or anything else, like what you just explained makes sense. It just makes sense.
Yeah, thank you.
So I know there's some people listening here right now, and they're like, so how do I get involved? Like, this is cool. Like, first off, so how does this work on your end? So, you know, there's investors listening, there's people possibly that own land, there's people that want to be that want to get involved. Like, what do you take on the investor side? Is it like you mentioned, there's a list, so they could be maybe on your investor list, you partner for deals. Tell us a little bit more about how that works.
Right. So I have a very simple mission in life. And my mission is I want to eliminate solo economic dependency for the entire world. And what I mean by solo economic dependency is if you're not working, you're not making any money. So let's just pick on a dentist, right? If their hands aren't in somebody's mouth, they're not making any money. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio of input to output. They don't scale. Right? So we can look at dentists and doctors and lawyers, anyone trading dollars for hours, people with a job, freelancers. So how do we get people out of solo economic dependency? Well, we have to create this side hustle of passive income and have that machine built for them so that, you know, they can wake up and start getting paid. And no matter what happens in their life, they have total freedom to work when they want, where they want, and whom they want. And basically what happens is when you have that type of freedom, you have this oceans of energy to really figure out, like, what do I want to do in life, and move up into Maslow's hierarchy of needs into self-actualization. So with that base of a fundamental mission, we try to help everybody. So let's just start with the person who has a job, right? So we can help those people build their machine, all the way from free courses all the way into one-on-one coaching. And then as we move up the chain, let's pick on that neurosurgeon who's making over $1 million a year, but he's getting tired. He knows, you know, he goes mountain biking, he breaks his hand, he's at risk. So we can help accredited investors as well where we have a done-for-you program and a fund. So we really can help everybody along the line. So whether you have no money, you have tons of time, we can help you there. If you have tons of money, and you have no time, we can help you there, and everything in between.
Wow, that's awesome, man. I really like what you're doing, creating win-win relationships there. What kind of responses have you kind of gotten from the people that you work with so far, whether it's the accredited or even the do-it-yourselfers? I mean, what kind of responses have you gotten?
I mean, they love us. And I can tell you professionally, I'm really at peace. Like, I'm kind of morbid. I always think about, how short life is and, just how fleeting everything is. And so I always think to myself when I go to bed, if I don't make it the next morning, will I have been fulfilled? And I think for sure professionally, I can now die in peace. I've helped enough people, retire their spouses, go down from full-time to part-time, replace their incomes, quit their jobs. And, for the accredited investors, allow them to see that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow where they can, feel like, okay, I can slow down. And I do have this other passive income piece and I'm not so exposed. And it's an amazing, amazing feeling. I mean, look, I love buying and selling raw land, but there's nothing that's more thrilling than really making an impact in someone's life. And so that's what I love to do.
Yeah. So, I mean, my concept, which, was not necessarily correct, because what you're talking about is a really interesting, straightforward model that kind of takes some of the risk off of the normal. Like, I've always been introduced to land as more like the speculation side of things, but it seems to me like what you've done is you've really taken it out of that category by adding it to a system, and really based off of your system and the way that you're the way you're buying. Obviously, most real estate you're making it on the purchase, but also on the built-in markets on how you're going to sell that land also, whether it be to the neighbors or otherwise. Like, if you go down that list, you have a higher potential of, in my opinion, achieving your goal there. Can you talk a little bit more about just the market overall and either where you typically are buying or otherwise, just because I feel like most people listening to this right now, maybe they started off this listen, well, I'm giving the interview, but they're listening and they're thinking, okay, this is about land, so it's going to be a speculative, type interview, and how you speculate on buying the right land so that it appreciates, or, so the old model, I'll say, of how land's done. Can you talk a little bit more about that, like areas you buy or otherwise, just so people have a feel for it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, Adam, let's just be honest, right? Nobody wakes up, thinks themselves, boy, like some raw land in Iowa today.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, unless you live in Iowa. So, we want to focus on the fastest growing states, the sunshine states. So New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, Nevada, Texas, California, a little bit in Washington, Oregon, Florida. So these are the fast-growing states. These are the sunshine states. These are where people from the Northeast, Midwest want to acquire land. So this is going to be our biggest buyer pool. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I can buy any asset 25, 30 cents on the dollar, I'm going to make money on it. Doesn't matter if it's Iowa, Tennessee, Missouri. I just don't focus on that. And so if you're starting out, you want to start out and get the easiest win possible, and those are the states to focus on.
No, well said. I love it. So, Mark, that being said, first off, I can talk to you about this all day long because I really like your model and what you're doing, how you're helping investors, not just the accredited investors. You're also helping those that want to learn and have time to study. So appreciate all that. So if somebody is listening to this and they want to learn more about Frontier Properties or Land Geek Enterprises, I mean, what's the best way for them to reach out and to connect with you and your overall brand?
Yeah. I think the best place to start is thelandgeek.com. But Adam, personally, I think the best way to learn is to do. And I've got a course that's normally $97 called Wholetailing, how to double your money 30 days or less. And I'd love to offer that course for free to your listeners if they just go to thelandgeek.com/quick deals, they can start doing this and seeing if this model even resonates with them.
Let's see, and let's leave that address one more time. It's thelandgeek.com/what?
Quick deals.
Quick deals. I'm going to take that course. That's awesome. Tell us a little bit about the course so that everybody will know why to go sign up for it.
Right. So what we do is we really take the most important aspects of the model and we simplify it. So instead of, going out and contacting a county, getting a list, scrubbing the list, pricing the list, we eliminate that big piece. So we say, okay, here's where you can go and get wholesale deals from the wholesaler, right? And then the next piece is, okay, well, how do I retail that? How do I make money after I buy it wholesale? And then we show you exactly how to price it, where to market it, and how to get your money out and start getting that passive income right away, or do a cash flip on a retail sale after you buy it from the wholesaler. So, we recommend safe wholesalers to buy from, how to do that due diligence, the double check, and then we teach them how to sell it 30 days or less on a retail basis and double their money.
Fantastic. Well, Mark, really appreciate you again coming on the show today. And for everybody listening again, thelandgeek.com/quick deals for that free course. Definitely go check that out. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review in the Apple iTunes store. And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Money, definitely go give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments in the video. Love to know what kind of projects and things that you're working on. And Mark, thanks again for coming on the show.
Adam, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.